The Galactic Council left speechless by Earth's brutal response. HFY, Best Sci-Fi Stories. The sky above Earth was unusually quiet that morning, almost as if the planet itself sensed the tension in the coming hours. Across continents, people went about their routines unaware that something unprecedented was approaching. Somewhere beyond the solar system, in the vast darkness between stars, a fleet unlike any humanity had ever imagined was moving toward Earth. Ships so large they could hold entire cities glimmered faintly against the backdrop of space, and their sleek designs betrayed a technology far beyond human comprehension. On the surface, in the heart of Washington, D.C., the President of the United States sat in the Situation Room, surrounded by military advisors, scientists, and intelligence officers. The room buzzed with anxiety. Every screen displayed the same image: alien ships entering the solar system at an impossible speed. Dr. Alina Kapoor, the lead astrophysicist, adjusted her glasses and spoke carefully. "They're not slowing down. By our calculations, they'll reach Earth's orbit in less than 6 hours." A murmur ran through the room. Generals exchanged uneasy glances, and some whispered prayers under their breath. No one knew what the aliens wanted, but the fact that the Galactic Council, the governing body of countless advanced civilizations, was sending ships directly to Earth signaled that this was serious. Meanwhile, in a small village in the mountains of Peru, a young girl named Liana gazed at the sky through a telescope her grandfather had built. Her father, a local farmer, called her for breakfast, but she ignored him. The sight of massive, silver shapes moving silently above the Earth filled her with awe and fear. Her grandfather, who had once worked at a space research center, watched her silently, knowing that the world was about to change forever. By the time the alien fleet reached the outer edge of Earth's orbit, news agencies around the globe had started broadcasting live footage. Cities were in chaos. People ran to the streets, staring at the sky, pointing at ships that seemed to float effortlessly in the atmosphere of space. Governments declared emergency alerts. Airports and seaports were closed, and militaries mobilized, not knowing whether to prepare for diplomacy or defense. From the flagship of the alien fleet, the Council's supreme envoy observed Earth's nervous activity with calm detachment. Its appearance was humanoid but with subtle differences. Skin shimmering faintly in silver tones, eyes reflecting more information than a human mind could process. It spoke to its assistants in a language that sounded like music, yet every word carried complex data. "Prepare the first contact protocols," the envoy said. "Earth is primitive. Their understanding of the cosmos is limited. They will likely respond with fear. Observe carefully." Back on Earth, the Council's presence was met with mixed reactions. Some world leaders advocated for immediate communication, hoping diplomacy could prevent disaster. Others called for preemptive measures, preparing defensive systems to repel what they feared could be an invasion. The tension was palpable. Across the globe, people watched their screens in silence, united in wonder and terror. In New York, a group of scientists gathered in a high-rise observatory. Dr. Henry Liu, a leading expert in quantum mechanics, leaned over a console and shook his head. "These ships are unlike anything we've seen. They move faster than light should allow, and their structure is adaptive. Conventional weapons would be useless against them." His colleague, Dr. Marisol Reyes, added, "But why come to Earth? We are insignificant compared to the civilizations out there. Perhaps they want something else, or perhaps they want to see us." As the fleet entered orbit, satellites immediately detected their presence. Communications were jammed, and electronic systems in some regions flickered. The aliens broadcast a message, not in human language, but through images and signals that, with careful translation, conveyed intent. They were observers at first, and then envoys. The message was simple but undeniable. "We are here. Prepare." The world held its breath. News channels displayed human reactions in real time. Families huddled together, children crying, scientists studying the data, and soldiers readying their equipment. Some looked for panic, but the strongest emotion visible was curiosity. Humanity had faced threats before, from natural disasters to political conflicts, but nothing like this. This was the unknown, pure, unfiltered, and enormous. On Earth, the United Nations convened an emergency meeting. Leaders from nearly every nation appeared on the holographic screens. The Secretary General spoke with a firm voice that tried to mask his own fear. We do not yet know the intentions of these beings. Our priority is to ensure the safety of our planet and its people. We must approach this carefully. We will attempt communication first, and we will prepare defenses second. In the meantime, Earth's armies were mobilizing with incredible speed. Fighter jets scrambled, radar systems tracked every movement, and nuclear silos were put on high alert. But even the most advanced weapons seemed like toys compared to the massive ships hovering above. The Council's ships had shields and technology far beyond anything humans had ever imagined. Yet, there was a growing sense of pride among scientists and engineers. They had built telescopes, satellites, and space probes that could detect and study these ships. Humanity had come a long way, and now it faced a true test of its ingenuity and unity. Across the world, in labs and command centers, people worked tirelessly, running simulations and preparing for whatever might come next. In orbit, the Supreme Envoy observed Earth's efforts with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Unlike other civilizations the Council had contacted, humans were unpredictable. Their history was filled with wars, yes, but also with rapid advancements and creative problem-solving. There was something about their resilience that intrigued even the most logical of observers. As hours passed, the first landing ships descended through the atmosphere, moving carefully toward the oceans and uninhabited areas. They did not show aggression, but their size alone caused tidal waves and atmospheric disturbances. Earth's radar and tracking systems struggled to keep up. On board, the aliens prepared for first contact, scanning and analyzing every detail of the environment, every pattern of human life they could detect. Meanwhile, in the small Peruvian village, Liana and her grandfather watched the ships land in the distance. She turned to him, eyes wide with fear and excitement. "Grandfather, what do they want with us?" she asked. He smiled softly, though his eyes were filled with worry. "I do not know, child, but whatever happens, humanity has always faced the impossible. We survive, we adapt, and we fight. Perhaps this is another challenge for us, one that will define our place in the stars." As night fell across the planet, lights from the alien ships glowed against the darkness. Earth's cities reflected those lights, a reminder that this world was alive, vibrant, and unyielding. Across the globe, people gazed at the sky, realizing for the first time how small and fragile they were, but also how remarkable their species had become. The Council had arrived expecting a primitive planet, easy to dominate or manipulate. But Earth had already begun to show that it was not so easily defined. Humanity's reaction, fear mixed with curiosity, preparation mixed with ingenuity, was the first sign that this encounter would not go as the Council anticipated. Somewhere deep within the flagship, the Supreme Envoy made a decision. "Observe carefully," it said again, more to itself than anyone else. "This species may be more dangerous than they appear." And with that, the first stage of the encounter ended. The fleet remained in orbit, silent but imposing. On Earth, people slept fitfully, their dreams haunted by visions of strange lights and massive ships. Yet beneath the fear, there was excitement. For the first time, humanity faced a challenge that truly stretched beyond their planet. A challenge that would test their courage, unity, and determination. And perhaps, finally, reveal what humans were truly capable of. The morning after the arrival of the alien fleet, Earth was silent in an unusual way. People had stopped their frantic movements from the night before, and a tense curiosity had replaced fear. Every screen and communication channel carried the same message. The Galactic Council was watching, and their intentions were still unclear. In the United Nations headquarters, world leaders gathered for what could only be called the most important meeting in human history. Representatives from nearly every nation were present, and a sense of unity replaced the usual political squabbles. The Secretary General opened the meeting with a voice that carried both authority and urgency. Today, we face a moment that no generation has ever faced. The Galactic Council has arrived. Their purpose is unknown, but their presence is undeniable. Our task is to protect our planet while seeking a peaceful resolution. Every nation must cooperate fully. While leaders debated diplomacy and military readiness, scientists and engineers worked tirelessly to analyze the alien fleet. Every day, new data came in. The ships were far larger than any human city, constructed from materials unknown on Earth, and powered by energy sources humanity could only theorize about. Dr. Alina Kapoor and her team led the efforts to understand these ships' technology. "They are scanning us," she said during a briefing with the president. "Not aggressively, but in a way that measures every detail, our cities, our weapons, even our communication patterns. It's as if they are assessing what we are capable of." In orbit, the supreme envoy of the Galactic Council observed Earth's responses. Unlike other civilizations the Council had encountered, humans did not panic or surrender. They were curious, calculating, and resilient. The envoy consulted its subordinates, speaking in the melodic language of the Council. "They are primitive in technology, but not in spirit," the envoy said. "They act unpredictably. We will administer a test to determine if they are worthy of interstellar consideration." The test came quickly. Across the planet, massive holographic projections appeared in major cities. In New York, London, Beijing, and Tokyo, the images of the envoy and other council representatives appeared, their features illuminated in silver light. Their message was clear. Earth must submit to interstellar oversight, surrender valuable resources, and accept guidance from the Galactic Council. The response from humanity was immediate and mixed. Governments debated whether to negotiate or resist. Citizens protested in the streets, some calling for submission to avoid conflict, while others demanded that Earth stand its ground. Soldiers, scientists, and engineers prepared for a response, knowing that words alone might not be enough. In Washington, D.C., the president listened as advisors outlined options. "Our military cannot match their technology," said General Marcus Bell. "Even our nuclear weapons might be useless against their shields." Dr. Kapoor interjected, "But they do not understand us fully. They underestimate creativity, adaptability, and determination. If we can anticipate their tactics, we may find ways to level the field." After hours of discussion, the president addressed the world in a calm, steady voice. "We will not surrender our planet or our people. We are open to dialogue, but we will defend Earth with every resource we have. Humanity has always faced impossible challenges. We will face this one together." Across the globe, this message inspired hope. People who had been terrified the night before now saw strength in their unity. Volunteers worked to support emergency services, scientists shared their knowledge, and engineers created new systems to monitor the alien fleet. Humanity was ready, not to attack blindly, but to respond with intelligence and courage. Meanwhile, in Europe, Dr. Marisol Reyes coordinated a team of mathematicians, programmers, and engineers. They developed simulations to predict the aliens, movements, and weaknesses. Using quantum computing, they ran thousands of scenarios, looking for patterns in the seemingly impossible technology. "It's like playing chess with someone who can see the board in ways we cannot," she said, her eyes fixed on the screen. "But even a perfect player can be surprised." The Galactic Council, observing these preparations, remained impressed yet cautious. Their envoys had expected Earth to either surrender or show chaotic aggression. Instead, humans displayed discipline, focus, and ingenuity. The Council decided to escalate the test. Using advanced drones, the aliens created controlled demonstrations of force. Massive energy pulses lit up the oceans, creating shockwaves that could destroy cities if unleashed carelessly. Satellites and radars recorded every detail. The message was clear. Earth was vulnerable, and the Council could act decisively if it wished. In response, human teams worked day and night to analyze the energy patterns. Engineers like Liana's father in Peru, who once built simple water pumps, now contributed to energy shield experiments and emergency evacuation plans. Across every continent, humanity's collective effort grew. Ordinary people became extraordinary contributors, united by the need to protect their planet. In orbit, the Supreme Envoy watched Earth's reaction with increasing interest. Unlike other species, humans did not display immediate fear or obedience. They showed creativity, resilience, and courage, the very traits the Council valued in civilizations worthy of interstellar participation. The first direct encounter occurred when one of the Council's observation drones approached a major city in Brazil. Unlike the previous energy pulses, this drone made no destructive movement. It hovered silently, scanning the city with advanced sensors. Local authorities evacuated residents, while scientists monitored the drone, trying to communicate or disrupt its systems. Dr. Kapoor suggested an unorthodox approach. We can't overpower them, but we can confuse them, interfere with their sensors using patterns they don't expect. It may not harm them, but it will show they cannot predict us perfectly. The plan was risky. Using a combination of satellites, computer algorithms, and electromagnetic pulses, Earth scientists executed the strategy. The drone's sensors flickered, its movement became erratic, and for the first time the Council's monitors detected something unexpected: human ingenuity. The Supreme Envoy tilted its head, as if intrigued by the anomaly. They are unpredictable, it said. Even their mistakes are creative. In the cities below, people watched as the alien drone, once precise and controlled, hovered uncertainly before retreating. News spread quickly. Humanity had passed the first stage of the test, not by force, but by intelligence and unity. Across the globe, celebrations erupted, tempered by the knowledge that this was only the beginning. While humans rejoiced, the Council convened a private meeting on their flagship. Advanced beings from countless worlds debated Earth's capabilities. Some argued that the humans were too primitive to survive long-term in the interstellar community. Others, led by the Supreme Envoy, insisted that resilience and creativity were more important than raw technology. They are unpredictable, yes, said the envoy. But that unpredictability is valuable. They are capable of adapting to circumstances we cannot foresee. They may become dangerous or indispensable. Back on Earth, scientists and engineers continued preparations. They knew the aliens would test them further. Dr. Marisol Reyes led a project to design defensive systems that combined existing technology with unconventional thinking. Simple drones were repurposed to create distractions. Communication networks were encrypted beyond standard protocols, and civilian volunteers learned emergency drills that could save millions of lives. In villages and cities, ordinary people became heroes in small but meaningful ways. Farmers delivered food to shelters, teachers organized community safety plans, and students monitored communication signals. The spirit of unity and courage spread like wildfire. Humanity was proving that even a species considered weak by interstellar standards could rise to meet a challenge. As night fell once again, the alien fleet remained in orbit. The Council knew the test was far from over. Their next step would be more direct, more challenging: designed to measure the limits of human ingenuity and courage. But humanity, confident in its collective strength and determination, prepared to meet whatever came next. In homes, laboratories, and command centers across the globe, people worked tirelessly, knowing that the fate of their planet and their species hung in the balance. And so, the first stage of the confrontation had ended. The Galactic Council had sent a warning expecting submission. Instead, they witnessed creativity, courage, and unity, the first signs that humans were not to be underestimated. Somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, a council ship hovered silently. On board, the Supreme Envoy recorded its observations and prepared for the next phase. Its calm voice carried across the command room, "Prepare the second stage. Humanity has passed the first test. Now we will see how far their determination can take them." Earth's night sky sparkled with city lights, distant stars, and the enormous fleet above. Humanity slept, worked, and planned, unaware that the galaxy was watching. Their courage, intelligence, and adaptability would soon face the greatest challenge yet, a challenge that would define not only their survival but their place among the stars. The sun rose over Earth with a sense of quiet determination. Across continents, humans worked tirelessly, preparing for the next stage of the test. Cities that had been in chaos a few days ago now moved with an organized purpose. Scientists, engineers, soldiers, and ordinary citizens all contributed to the effort. Humanity was no longer reacting in fear. It was planning, strategizing, and ready to respond. In the underground command center beneath Geneva, Dr. Alina Kapoor and her team monitored the alien fleet. Their screens showed the massive ships hovering above Earth, scanning, analyzing, and waiting. Each movement of the Council's drones and observation vessels was tracked with precision. Algorithms calculated potential weaknesses in the alien formations, while simulations tested thousands of scenarios in seconds. "We've studied their patterns," Dr. Kapoor said to General Marcus Bell, who stood beside her. "They are careful, controlled, and precise, but predictable in some ways. Their technology is advanced, but it relies on observation. If we can create distractions and exploit their focus, we can gain an advantage." General Bell nodded. "We can't outgun them. But maybe we can outthink them." From Tokyo to New York, engineers and programmers implemented the plans. Civilian drones were retrofitted with reflective surfaces, sensors, and electronic interference devices. Satellites were coordinated to create false signals, confusing alien tracking systems. Military units rehearsed maneuvers that would allow them to respond quickly to any threat. Even ordinary people played a role, providing intelligence, supplies, and support wherever needed. Humanity's collective effort was extraordinary, and it had one clear goal: show the Galactic Council that humans could not be underestimated. As the first test began, the Council deployed its scout drones to probe Earth's defenses. These drones, smaller than the main ships but fast and powerful, moved across oceans and continents. Their sensors scanned cities, military bases, and even rural areas. The Council expected to see fear, hesitation, and disorder. Instead, they saw organization, ingenuity, and courage. In Brazil, a drone descended near the Amazon basin. Local authorities had evacuated nearby areas, but scientists and engineers had prepared a trap. Using electromagnetic pulses and reflective decoys, the team created false heat signatures and interference signals. The drone's sensors flickered and failed to track accurately. For a brief moment, it hovered uncertainly, analyzing contradictory data. Then it retreated, unable to make sense of what it saw. The Supreme Envoy observed this with a growing sense of interest. "They adapt quickly," it said to its subordinates. "Even with primitive tools, they demonstrate intelligence and creativity. This is unusual." Most civilizations fail the first stage easily. In Europe, similar efforts took place. Swarms of small drones, guided by advanced algorithms, created optical illusions and electronic noise. Military units moved in coordinated patterns to distract alien scanners. Engineers modified civilian technology, turning everyday devices into clever defense mechanisms. Humanity was learning to fight in ways that the Council had not anticipated. Meanwhile, in Africa, communities worked together to protect critical infrastructure. Farmers, teachers, and volunteers assisted engineers in creating temporary shelters, communication hubs, and emergency energy grids. Every human action, from the simplest to the most complex, contributed to the larger plan. The world was united in a way that had never been seen before. Across the Pacific Ocean, the Council's fleet observed these coordinated actions. The drones sent back data showing confusion and disruption in systems they considered perfect. For the first time, the aliens realized that Earth was not a simple, primitive planet. Humans were creative, adaptive, and relentless. On Earth, a breakthrough occurred. Dr. Marisol Reyes and her team discovered a pattern in the alien drones' communication signals. By introducing small, carefully timed disruptions, they could temporarily jam the drones' coordination. The first successful test occurred near the coast of California. A group of drones lost synchronization, collided, and were forced to retreat. Humanity had achieved something remarkable. They had taken the first offensive step against an alien fleet far superior in technology. News of the success spread rapidly across the globe. People celebrated cautiously, knowing that this was only the beginning. Yet hope surged through every city, town, and village. Humanity had demonstrated that intelligence, creativity, and determination could challenge even the most advanced beings. The Galactic Council convened once again on their flagship. Delegates from countless civilizations debated the unexpected turn of events. Many were concerned. The humans were unpredictable and dangerous, not in a destructive sense, but in their ability to overcome obstacles through innovation and unity. "They are more capable than we anticipated," said a delegate from the Andromeda sector. "Their technology is inferior, but their ingenuity is unmatched. They may pose a threat if underestimated." The Supreme Envoy, calm but thoughtful, replied, "This is precisely why they must be tested further. Let us see how far their determination can take them. Observe but prepare for escalation." In Asia, scientists prepared another stage of resistance. They developed makeshift energy deflectors, communication jammers, and signal disruptors that could interfere with the Council's scanning systems. Engineers built devices capable of temporarily disabling drones without causing harm. The approach was clever and ethical. Humanity would defend itself without unnecessary destruction, showing intelligence, strategy, and restraint. In North America, military forces conducted coordinated exercises. Fighter jets moved in patterns designed to mislead alien sensors, while naval fleets simulated defensive maneuvers in areas of strategic importance. Civilian technology was integrated into the defense plan, creating a web of innovation that spanned the globe. The Council observed with growing amazement. Each time they tested humans, Earth's responses were unpredictable. Simple strategies, when executed with creativity and coordination, disrupted systems that the Council believed to be flawless. Humanity's combination of intelligence, courage, and adaptability was becoming evident. Even in remote areas, people contributed. In villages, communities shared knowledge about resource management, energy conservation, and communication strategies. Children learned emergency protocols, while elders provided guidance from experience. The planet itself seemed to unite, as if recognizing the extraordinary moment in history. The first direct engagement occurred near the Arctic Circle. A Council drone descended to gather data about energy reserves and climate patterns. It expected minimal resistance. Instead, it encountered a coordinated network of human signals that overloaded its sensors. For hours, the drone struggled to maintain control, unable to distinguish between real threats and decoys. Eventually, it withdrew, sending a report of the anomaly back to the fleet. The Supreme Envoy recorded this information carefully. Humans are not merely adaptive, it said. They anticipate, innovate, and act collectively. Their potential for survival and influence is greater than we imagined. Meanwhile, in South America, Liana and her grandfather watched the distant drone operations from a hilltop. Liana had joined a group of young volunteers who assisted scientists in monitoring signals and maintaining communication networks. "Grandfather, we did it," she said, eyes wide with excitement. "We made them confused." Her grandfather smiled, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Yes, child, but this is only the beginning. The Galactic Council will test us again. We must be ready, stronger than ever. Humanity has shown its strength, but the true challenge is yet to come." In the cities, people celebrated cautiously, knowing that every small success mattered. Engineers repaired damaged drones and communication devices. Scientists shared insights, and volunteers supported critical operations. Humanity had learned a valuable lesson. Unity, intelligence, and courage could overcome even the most powerful adversaries. As night fell, the alien fleet remained in orbit, observing the results of their test. The Supreme Envoy communicated with other council members. "They have passed the initial stage," it said, "but we must continue. Their ingenuity is remarkable, but we need to measure the limits of their capabilities. Prepare for the next phase. This species may be unpredictable, but that unpredictability is exactly why they are worth watching." On Earth, the world slept under the glow of city lights, distant stars, and the alien ships above. Humanity had taken its first offensive step, not through destruction, but through intelligence, strategy, and unity. The message was clear: humans could not be underestimated. In the underground command centers, labs, and control rooms, scientists and soldiers prepared for what was coming next. Every calculation, every plan, every innovation was designed to demonstrate one thing: Earth would defend itself with ingenuity, courage, and determination. The planet had shown the first signs of true strength, and the Galactic Council had taken notice. Across the globe, the message spread. Humanity had struck back, not with blind force, but with brilliance, coordination, and resilience. Ordinary people had become extraordinary contributors. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, and civilians had worked together to show that even a species considered primitive could challenge the galaxy's expectations. And somewhere in orbit, the Supreme Envoy recorded the observations once more. "Their ingenuity is impressive," it said softly. "They adapt, anticipate, and innovate. This species is not only resilient, they are extraordinary. We must see how far they will go." The stage was set. Humanity had struck back, and the Galactic Council would be forced to reconsider everything they thought they knew about this small, blue planet. The next test was coming, but Earth was ready. Not through fear, not through surrender, but through unity, intelligence, and courage. Humanity had begun to show the galaxy that it was a force to be reckoned with, and the real battle for respect and recognition was only beginning. The days following humanity's first successful strike were filled with preparation and tension. The Galactic Council's fleet still hovered above Earth, immense and silent, as if waiting for the next move. Humans had shown ingenuity and courage, but the Council's patience was not infinite. The next stage of the test was imminent. In the command center beneath Geneva, Dr. Alina Kapoor studied data flowing from satellites, drones, and observatories. Every calculation pointed to one conclusion: the Council's fleet was powerful beyond imagination, yet patterns in their behavior revealed vulnerabilities that humans could exploit. General Marcus Bell paced the room, his military mind weighing every option. "We can't defeat them head-on," he said, "but we can force them to react. Every decision they make is an opportunity. We must turn their strength into our advantage." Dr. Kapoor nodded. "We will combine strategy, technology, and human adaptability. That is our greatest strength. They may be advanced, but they are not unpredictable. They rely on observation. We will use that." Across the world, humanity prepared for what would come to be known as the brutal response. Scientists, engineers, and military personnel worked tirelessly. Drones were upgraded, communication networks encrypted, and cities organized into defensive zones. Every human action, every calculation, and every plan was aimed at one goal: show the Council that Earth would not bow to intimidation. In orbit, the Supreme Envoy observed Earth's preparations with growing intrigue. "They are resilient," it said, addressing the other Council delegates. "Their coordination is remarkable. They are primitive, yet they have adapted in ways that we did not predict. We must test them further with controlled force to measure their limits." The test began with a warning. Massive energy pulses, far more powerful than before, lit up the oceans near major cities. The Council intended to demonstrate their superior firepower, expecting Earth to respond with fear. Instead, humanity responded with calculation and ingenuity. In New York, engineers had built electromagnetic deflectors on rooftops and bridges. These devices absorbed and dispersed energy pulses, protecting the city and preventing structural damage. Across the world, similar systems operated in unison, creating a global shield of clever, improvised technology. Humanity had turned the Council's display of power into a chance to learn, adapt, and respond. Meanwhile, Dr. Marisol Reyes directed teams to use the Council's signals against them. By analyzing the timing and frequency of energy pulses, they created decoy transmissions that made drones and satellites misinterpret Earth's defenses. False targets, misleading coordinates, and simulated cities appeared across screens and holographic maps. The Council's fleet, for the first time, hesitated. General Bell took the opportunity to issue orders. Fighter jets and naval vessels moved in precise, coordinated patterns designed to mislead sensors. Communication networks were used to create artificial signals, while civilian drones performed rapid, synchronized maneuvers. Earth's defenses were not designed to destroy. They were designed to confuse, disrupt, and demonstrate human ingenuity. The Council's drones, designed to assess and intimidate, found themselves overwhelmed. Their advanced sensors struggled to distinguish reality from decoy. Energy pulses were deflected or absorbed, targets appeared in multiple locations at once, and human tactics forced the Council's fleet into cautious maneuvers. The Supreme Envoy observed this with silent amazement. "They adapt quickly," the envoy said. "They are not only resilient, they are calculating. This is unexpected. Their response is impressive." In the deserts of Africa, engineers had built improvised EMP devices capable of temporarily disabling smaller drones without causing harm. These devices were deployed at strategic points, forcing drones to retreat or recalibrate. Humanity's response was brutal, not in destruction, but in its effectiveness and precision. Meanwhile, in South America, coastal cities prepared for potential attacks. Using floating barriers, decoy structures, and coordinated evacuation plans, humans showed that even if they could not directly match the Council's power, they could mitigate its effects and maintain control over their planet. From orbit, the Supreme Envoy analyzed the patterns. "They are not violent," it said. "They do not strike recklessly, yet their collective action is formidable. Their strength lies not in technology but in unity, creativity, and adaptability. They are remarkable." The first major engagement occurred in the North Atlantic, where a fleet of Council drones attempted to assess Earth's energy networks. Using a combination of decoys, electronic interference, and strategic maneuvers, humanity forced the drones into disarray. One by one, the drones faltered, their sensors unable to cope with the combination of predictable and unpredictable tactics. Dr. Kapoor watched the results with satisfaction. "They are learning from every action," she said. "Every pulse, every movement is an opportunity to adapt. We are not just surviving, we are showing them what humanity can do when united." In Asia, teams prepared another layer of strategy. By combining data from satellites, ground-based sensors, and civilian volunteers, they created real-time simulations that allowed them to predict drone movements and respond instantly. This was not chaos, it was calculated adaptability. Humanity's ingenuity was on full display. On the alien flagship, delegates of the Galactic Council convened in private chambers. Many were concerned, unable to understand how a primitive species could withstand their test. Others, led by the Supreme Envoy, argued that this was precisely the quality that made humans exceptional. "They are adaptable, intelligent, and courageous," said the envoy. "They respond to pressure with creativity. This is rare among civilizations at their stage of development." We must observe further. Meanwhile, on the ground, ordinary humans played extraordinary roles. Volunteers assisted scientists and engineers, monitored signals, and maintained communications. Children practiced emergency drills, learning skills that could save lives. Communities shared resources, plans, and knowledge. Humanity's strength was not just in technology or weapons, it was in collective will and coordination. The Council escalated the test further. Drones moved faster, energy pulses became more precise, and larger ships hovered closer to major cities. Their intention was to intimidate and measure human endurance, but humanity responded with equal determination. Energy deflectors, decoys, and synchronized movements minimized damage. The Council's systems, designed for domination, found themselves countered at every step. In Europe, Liana's grandfather watched the operations from a control center, proud of what humanity had achieved. "They are showing the Council who we really are," he said. "Not by destruction, but by intelligence, unity, and courage. This is the true strength of our species." For the first time, the Galactic Council hesitated. Their initial assumptions about humanity, that Earth would be easily subdued, were wrong. Humans had not only resisted, they had forced the Council to respect their adaptability and strategic thinking. In orbit, the Supreme Envoy communicated a message to the fleet. "Earth is not as we expected. Their response is formidable, calculated, and ethical. They possess creativity, courage, and unity. We must reconsider our approach." Across the globe, people watched the sky with cautious optimism. They had faced the Council's most powerful demonstration and survived, not by surrender, not by brute force, but by using every resource, every mind, and every ounce of human ingenuity. Humanity had delivered a brutal response, but one that was measured, intelligent, and undeniably effective. The night fell over Earth, and the alien fleet remained above. For the first time, humans felt a sense of pride that went beyond survival. They had shown the galaxy that Earth was not a planet to be intimidated, a species to be dismissed, or a civilization to be underestimated. They had shown strength, unity, and intelligence. In labs, command centers, and homes, people continued preparations. They knew the next stage would be even more difficult, and that the Council's tests were far from over. But humanity had learned a crucial lesson. Together, they could meet any challenge, and even the most advanced force in the galaxy could be forced to respect their determination. The Supreme Envoy observed Earth one last time before the fleet entered a holding pattern. "They are exceptional," it said softly. "Their ingenuity, courage, and unity are unmatched. Perhaps this species deserves a place among the stars." And so, the brutal response ended, not in destruction, but in undeniable proof that humanity's strength was more than technology. It was intelligence, adaptability, and unwavering unity. Earth had faced a test designed to intimidate, and humans had turned it into a statement. They were ready to defend their planet, their people, and their place in the galaxy. The stage was set for the final confrontations, and the Council knew that humanity's next moves would be even more revealing. The blue planet, small and fragile among the stars, had already begun to rewrite the galaxy's expectations. The alien fleet had remained in orbit for weeks, massive and imposing, yet no longer threatening. Humanity's response had changed everything. Across the globe, people had learned to move as one, combining ingenuity, courage, and strategy. The Galactic Council had sent force and intimidation, but what they had received in return was far beyond what they expected: intelligence, unity, and moral restraint. In the United Nations headquarters, the Secretary General addressed world leaders and scientists with a sense of quiet triumph. "We have done more than survive," he said. "We have proven that humanity is capable of defending itself, protecting its planet, and acting with intelligence and ethics. Our species is resilient, resourceful, and united. The entire galaxy is watching, and I believe they now respect what we have achieved." On the Council's flagship, the Supreme Envoy convened a meeting of delegates. Representatives of countless civilizations gathered, their usual confidence shaken by Earth's unexpected success. "They are unlike any species we have encountered," said a delegate from the Orion sector. "Their technology is primitive compared to ours, yet they adapt, innovate, and act with unity. Their strength is not in weapons but in strategy and courage. They have earned our attention and perhaps our respect." The envoy nodded. "They have passed every test we administered. They did not panic, surrender, or attack blindly. They learned, adapted, and responded with ingenuity. This is rare. Their resilience and moral judgment are exceptional. We must acknowledge their place in the galaxy." Back on Earth, scientists continued to monitor the alien fleet. Their goal was no longer survival. They now prepared for dialogue. Communications had been established using a combination of signals, images, and patterns that the Council could understand. Humanity was ready to speak on equal terms. In Geneva, Dr. Alina Kapoor reviewed the transmission system. "We've developed a language that combines logic, mathematics, and symbolism," she explained. "It may take time, but they will understand that we are prepared to negotiate and cooperate, not just defend ourselves." The Supreme Envoy sent a response, a gesture that carried weight far beyond mere words. One by one, massive holographic projections appeared in major cities around the world. The message was simple, clear, and profound. The Galactic Council wished to meet with Earth's leaders, not as conquerors, but as equals. The first delegation arrived in a remote, secure area on Earth. Council representatives stepped from their ships, their presence awe-inspiring yet calm. Humans watched from a distance, maintaining protocols of respect and caution. Scientists, military leaders, and diplomats formed a unified front, ready to represent their species with intelligence and dignity. The meeting began with careful observation. Council members studied humanity not as a primitive species to be guided or controlled, but as a civilization that had earned recognition through resilience, creativity, and moral courage. Every word, gesture, and response was carefully considered. President of the United States spoke first, expressing the collective voice of humanity. "We have faced your tests with determination, intelligence, and unity. We are not a species that submits easily, nor one that seeks destruction without cause. Humanity strives for understanding, exploration, and collaboration. We hope that our actions have demonstrated our worthiness to stand among the stars as equals." The Supreme Envoy observed closely, analyzing every detail of human communication, every nuance of expression. For the first time in centuries of evaluating civilizations, the Council was genuinely impressed. Humans had combined courage with strategy, innovation with ethics, and survival with moral responsibility. A delegate from the Andromeda sector spoke next. Your species has shown qualities rarely observed. Resilience, ingenuity, and moral judgment distinguish you. You are not only capable of surviving in a hostile universe, but also of contributing positively to interstellar relations. Across the planet, news of the meeting spread. Humanity watched in anticipation as their actions, ingenuity, and courage were recognized. Citizens felt a deep sense of pride, not in conquest or aggression, but in the collective intelligence and unity that had defined their response. In laboratories, engineers continued to refine technologies developed during the tests. Drones, satellites, and communication systems were upgraded, not for war, but for exploration, defense, and cooperation. Humanity had transformed tools of survival into tools of advancement, preparing for a future among the stars. Meanwhile, Liana and her grandfather observed the proceedings from their village in Peru. "We have done more than survive," her grandfather said. "We have shown the galaxy who we are. Courage, intelligence, unity, these are our greatest weapons." Liana nodded, her eyes shining with hope. "And we will continue to show them. Humanity is capable of anything if we work together." The council, recognizing the depth of human ingenuity, proposed a formal evaluation. Teams of scientists, strategists, and diplomats from multiple civilizations would work alongside humans to share knowledge, exchange ideas, and explore cooperative projects. For the first time, Earth was considered a partner, not a subject. Dr. Kapoor met with alien scientists in Geneva, exchanging data, theories, and insights. She realized that this was more than recognition. It was an opportunity to advance humanity's understanding of the universe, bridging gaps between worlds. Military leaders collaborated with council strategists to develop defensive systems designed for protection, not domination. They studied each other's tactics, learning lessons that would prevent future conflicts and enhance cooperation. Humanity's intelligence and ethical judgment were matched by advanced technology and interstellar experience. In city streets, people celebrated in ways that were calm yet joyous. They had survived tests designed to intimidate, and they had earned respect through intelligence, unity, and moral courage. Humanity had proven itself capable of defending its planet while preparing to join a larger community of civilizations. The Supreme Envoy addressed the human delegation one last time. "You have demonstrated qualities that few species possess. Courage, creativity, unity, and moral responsibility are rare among civilizations. You are not merely survivors, you are worthy of recognition, respect, and collaboration. The Galactic Council welcomes humanity as equals." Silence filled the room as the words sank in. For generations, humans had looked to the stars with wonder and curiosity. Now the stars looked back with respect, acknowledging the extraordinary qualities of a species that had been underestimated for centuries. In laboratories, control centers, and homes across Earth, people reflected on the journey. Fear had been transformed into courage. Chaos had been transformed into unity. Uncertainty had been transformed into understanding. Humanity had faced the impossible and emerged stronger, smarter, and wiser. The Council's fleet slowly withdrew from orbit, leaving Earth with a new status among the stars. Their presence would remain a reminder of the challenges faced and overcome, but also of the respect and recognition earned. Humanity had taken its place in the galaxy, not through fear or force, but through intelligence, ingenuity, and ethical courage. In the remote village of Peru, Liana's grandfather turned to her with a smile. "We have been tested, and we have shown who we truly are. Humanity is not just survivors of this planet. We are thinkers, creators, and collaborators. We belong among the stars." Liana looked up at the sky, the distant alien ships fading into the darkness. "And we will continue to grow, learn, and explore. Together, We are stronger than anything the universe can throw at us. Across the globe, humanity celebrated in quiet and powerful ways. Engineers, scientists, military leaders, and ordinary citizens knew that the greatest achievement was not just survival, but respect, the recognition of their intelligence, courage, and unity by civilizations far older and more advanced. In orbit, the Supreme Envoy recorded the final observation. Earth has exceeded every expectation. Their ingenuity, courage, and moral responsibility are unmatched. They have earned respect and a place among the stars. This species is extraordinary. For the first time, humans were no longer isolated on a fragile blue planet. They had proven that intelligence, courage, and unity could overcome even the most advanced challenges. They had earned respect, not through fear or domination, but through creativity, determination, and ethical strength. And so, humanity's story among the stars began. The galaxy had watched, and the galaxy had learned. Never underestimate Earth, never underestimate humans, and never doubt the power of unity, intelligence, and courage. The stars shone above, silent witnesses to a species that had faced the impossible and emerged victorious, earning not only survival, but recognition, respect, and a new place in the universe.